Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And I'm here at the Oklahoma government's website. Here it says Oklahoma Real Estate Commission. And you see there's an article from 2021 or an act that's passed called the Predatory Real Estate Wholesaler Prohibition Act. And here you see a typical sign you might see while driving called "We Buy Houses Fast Cash." And this is basically what a typical wholesaler would is doing. Now, why are many states in this country, the United States, passing anti-wholesaler laws? Okay. Well, the reason is that there are harm parties in this transaction. Now, wholesaling itself, if it's done correctly, does not harm people, right? You're fulfilling a need in the marketplace, and the need is that fix and flippers can't buy property. They can't buy, they can't find property. And if you know anything about real estate investing, finding the property is the hardest thing on earth, right? You got to send hundreds of letters, maybe do cold calls, uh, I don't know, like drive for dollars. If you don't know what that is, you just drive in random neighborhoods. A lot of work just to find a house to fix and flip. And people who have money, right? Like if certain people who have money will actually pay other people 5 to 10 grand for a house to fix and flip if they able to find it, negotiate it. Another way of thinking about it is that you're selling contracts, right? So an effective wholesaler would go in to a distressed real estate and they'll get the property at a very deep discount. Okay, and then maybe put in a spread about 5 to 10 grand and then sell it to a fix and flipper. That's enough what an effective real estate wholesaler would do. They, and if they're able to make a living, they probably do put two properties a month on their contract. Now, the problem is that a lot of people get attracted to the space because of too many YouTube gurus back in the early 2020s, late 2020s were like, or 2010s were like, you can get into real estate wholesaling with no money, no credit. And so what happens is that you attract a bunch of amateurs in the marketplace, and also with the mentality that they're not going to spend any money, right? And if you ever go into a marketplace or a field where people's mindset is small and it's like, I'm not going to spend any money, I almost guarantee you that people will get harmed, right? It's almost a guarantee that people would get harmed, and usually the harm comes from not completing your transaction or what you say you're going to do, right? And so think about it. Let's say like someone's in foreclosure and you adopt the mindset, I'm not going to spend any money or credit, and you get into a real estate contract, and because you're an amateur and you don't know how to do it correctly, you have the contract price too high. No one's going to buy your contract, and because no one's going to buy your contract and you don't have any money or credit, um, you just left the seller hanging, and you just walk away, and then they're going to complain to the real estate commission about how you screwed them over, and people get harmed. And yet, the state government doesn't even know what wholesaling is until too many people complain about it. They don't know what anything is until too many people complain about it, and that's when they start passing laws, right? So why am I talking about wholesaling? It's because it's about the mindset that people who go into the field don't understand is causing a lot of harm, which is that you're not going to use money, right? And anytime, okay, I talk about this with other people, they think they're being smart by not spending money when really they're doing themselves harm. And I know this is like basic market economy 101. Like this is basic that you pay for goods and services with money. But if you're realizing that you're getting into a field like real estate wholesaling where the mentality is I'm not going to spend my money in order to make it, some like 99% guaranteed people are going to get harmed. And this is why you cannot feel sorry for people who are not going to pay you, because they're going to harm other people with that mentality. Now let me tell you something. The difference between a rich person and a poor person is not just that they don't have money, it's their mentality about money. Because even if they had no money, let's say I have no money today, absolutely none, I'm not going to step outside my house with the mentality that I'm not going to pay other people, right? I may have to borrow it. I may have to pull resources. I may have to get a job. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to step into the marketplace with the mentality that I'm not going to use money or credit or whatever and not pay other people. And because if you come to the marketplace with that mentality, you're going to cause harm to other people. And if you're a rich person, right, you understand you have to pay other people. You have to pay other people money to circulate in order to gain a net return. Whereas poor people, small-minded people think I'm going to save money and not pay other people. You kind of get where I'm going with this? See, what's surprising to me is that as I've made more money, I'm trying to like teach people like, hey, it's okay to pay other people money to help you with things. And so many people would get offended, like, oh my goodness, this person is trying to sell me something. I would never pay. And this is why like most people stay in small mindset, right? They stay in small business. They're not making any money because they're trying to quote not use it and still gain goods and services in the marketplace. And if you burn other people by not paying them, you're not going to get repeat business. And repeat business is the most important thing when it comes to business, right? This is why all software companies in this era do not just sell one package one time, but they sell it on a subscription basis. Everybody, Netflix, everybody, right? Nobody sells things on a one-time basis anymore because they understand that repeat business is the most important thing in any business. And so if you try to go into a mindset of I'm not going to spend money and I think I'm going to be smart by not paying other people, nobody will want to work with you, right? And so if you think about like the mindset of big business, they're all about spending money in order to make money, right? They understand in order to scale, I got to spend a ton of money in order to make more money. They know that, right? But most people will never adopt the mindset or even try to adopt the mindset of a big business. Okay? And let's end with this. Okay? Let's end with ChatGPT. Ask what ChatGPT thinks. So give me one moment. Okay, so here we are with ChatGPT, and I'm just going to ask a question. How much do you think that McDonald's spends on external vendors annually? Okay, so think about how the quote average person tries to be smart by not spending money on other people, like spending money on people to help them. Like they'll actually get offended that they have to pay for stuff, even like rent. Like I got to pay for rent. Okay, well, then you don't get to rent the house, okay? Like, this is how dumb people are. But let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT. You see this word billions? McDonald's spends billions a year on other people to help them. Your average person does not have that mentality. And this is why, even though McDonald's spends, I'm sorry, even though McDonald's makes crap food, they still have the mentality that they're going to pay other people, which is like 100 times better than your average small-minded person. Okay? So let's go ahead and read this.
McDonald's spends a significant amount annually on external vendors for various services, including food suppliers, logistics, marketing, technology, and real estate. While the exact figure varies year to year and depends on a variety of factors, it has been estimated that McDonald's spends billions globally on external vendors. For example, food suppliers. McDonald's relies on a global supply chain for ingredients like beef, potatoes, and chicken, which alone could represent a large portion of vendor spending. Logistics and distribution. McDonald's partners with companies to ensure the timely distribution of ingredients to its restaurants. Technology. As McDonald's focuses more on digital ordering, delivery apps, and other tech infrastructure, its spending in this category has increased significantly. Marketing. McDonald's is known for its massive advertising campaigns, often partnering with external ad agencies. In general, it's safe to say McDonald's spends several billion dollars annually on external vendors, especially considering its global presence and the complexity of its supply chain. However, precise annual figures would depend on their financial reports for each year.
Right? Billions. Now, let me just ask ChatGPT this. It seems like the mindset of McDonald's and big businesses in general is completely different from your average person who tries to save money and do everything themselves.
You're absolutely right. The mindset of large corporations like McDonald's differs greatly from the average person, particularly when it comes to spending money and managing resource sources.
I'll fail to play message. Let me try playing it again.
You're absolutely right. The mindset of large corporations like McDonald's differs greatly from the average person, particularly when it comes to spending money and managing resources. Big businesses operate under the principle of leveraging external expertise and scaling operations efficiently. Here are some key differences in mindset. One, outsourcing versus doing it yourself. Big businesses, companies like McDonald's often outsource tasks to external vendors because it allows them to focus on their core competencies, e.g., running restaurants, while letting experts handle things like marketing, logistics, or technology development. They understand that paying for specialized skills leads to better efficiency and scalability in the long run. Individuals. The average person often aims to save money by doing things themselves, whether it's managing their own finances, fixing things around the house, or handling administrative tasks. This can save money up front, but may not always be the most efficient approach in terms of time or expertise. Hasher 2, investment in growth versus frugality. Big businesses, corporations prioritize investment over frugality. They spend large sums on technology, innovation, and external partnerships because they see it as an investment in future growth and efficiency. For example, McDonald's investment in automation, self order kiosks, and delivery services are meant to increase profits long term. Individuals, many people focus on frugality and saving as much as possible in the short term, often sacrificing convenience or efficiency to cut costs. They may avoid hiring help or investing in tools that could make tasks faster or more efficient. Number 3, economies of scale versus personal costs. Big businesses, McDonald's benefits from economies of scale, meaning the more they produce or buy, the lower their per unit costs. For example, they can negotiate lower prices with food suppliers because of the massive volume they buy. This encourages spending more initially to save on large scale operations later. The average person often doesn't benefit from economies of scale. In personal life, higher spending generally results in higher costs with less room for savings, so many people focus on cutting costs wherever possible. 4. Risk management versus playing it safe. Big businesses. Corporations are often willing to take calculated risks with large investments and partnerships, trusting that the potential upside will outweigh the risks. They have a long term vision of success and are more willing to spend large sums today for gains in the future. Individuals. The average person tends to play it safe, focusing on saving and avoiding big expenditures, particularly those that seem risky or uncertain. The mindset is often about avoiding debt and maintaining stability rather than aggressively growing wealth or resources. 5. Access to capital versus limited resources. Big businesses. McDonald's has access to vast amounts of capital, including financing, loans, and investments. This allows them to make large purchases or engage in massive projects without worrying about short term liquidity. Individuals, most people operate with limited financial resources and may not have access to large loans or investment capital. This limits their ability to outsource work or make big investments, forcing them to be more conservative. This shift in mindset from frugality and self sufficiency to strategic spending and outsourcing is one reason why big businesses can scale rapidly and become so dominant. They focus on long term efficiency and growth, while many individuals focus more on immediate savings and managing what they have.
Right. So we see the importance of mindset. And even if you don't have any money, right? You never want to go into any marketplace and say, "Well, I'm just not going to try to pay people for them to do their job, right? You will harm people. This is why wholesaling has had so many laws passed against it, because you're harming people with that mindset. It doesn't mean wholesaling itself is not legitimate. It just means that if you have a bunch of people who engage in any transaction with that mindset, you're going to harm people, right? So if you're poor right now, you don't ever want to get into the mindset of, oh, I'm just not going to end up paying people for whatever, whether even if it's for their expertise. You want to have the mindset of, oh, I'll figure out a way to get the money to pay you. Because again, repeated transactions and not burning people is like the most important thing when it comes to business. Repeat business is essentially a business that lasts a lifetime, whereas too many individuals are like, well, I'm just going to do a one-time thing, and if I don't get what I want, or if I don't have to spend money and burn relationships with other people, then so be it. Whereas big businesses like McDonald's, again, they spend billions of dollars getting help from other people. Billions of dollars. Most people don't have that mentality. They don't. Too many people try to, quote, save money yet want other people's help. And basically, if you go into the mindset in the marketplace, or I'm sorry, in the marketplace with that mindset, you're going to harm people. And that's why I say don't feel sorry for people who can't pay you, because they're going to harm you. They don't realize that, but they are going to harm you, and that's why all these anti-wholesale laws are getting passed. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today. It's Korean Atlanta Mentorship. Have a great day, and we'll speak next time.